Welcome to the Smithfield Wine Video Library. Final stand preparations by Lynn of Smithfield Wine and Tony of Catalyst. Oh, and perhaps a quick text. Tony's introduction to his masterclass on New Zealand wines from Otuero Estates and Mount Rosa.
I suppose in the wine show for about 20 years, but I'm not a journo. I don't pretend to be a wine expert. I don't pretend even to have the best palate in the world. But I've got a passion for wine, and I've sold a lot of the big brands over the UK over the years. People like Wolfblass and Jacob's Creek in the early 90s when nobody really wanted to buy any wine from the New World at all. Started with Montana, and you couldn't sell anything in the UK, and now it sells about 580,000 cases. But a couple of years ago, I got a little bit bored, or should we say disillusioned with the wine world, because the problem with wine is, all the time, people are trying to keep the price point under £5, and we've created it, really. But if you think now that the VAT on a bottle, take that off, it's £4.25. Take £2 off for UK duty, take 30% off for the retailer's margin. What you actually end up with in a bottle is a 50p bottle of wine. So the big brands are fine. I'm not saying any of them are particularly bad. No, there's not that many bad wines made these days. But that constant move towards high volume and £5 is beginning to be, so maybe the death knell for new and interesting wines coming into the UK. So what I've tried to do is to try and find some new, interesting, contemporary wines from the New World. And what better place to start than with New Zealand, because New Zealand has the highest average price point of any wine brand or wine category in the UK. So people are actually prepared to pay for New Zealand because they realise its quality. That did hit a little bit of a bump in the last year or so because the 2008 vintage was enormous. There's been a lot of new plantings coming on stream. So if you saw on the supermarket shelves over the last couple of years some cheap New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, especially the 2008 vintage, around about £5, that was generally because of that huge vintage, and it's people trying to clear their tanks. The demand, the supply for a while outstripped the demand. But nobody was making any money with that. And also, you can always look on the back of the bottle. If you look at this bottled in MN, and it's basically wine shipped in big tanks. So basically it all gets put into a big container which has got a huge great plastic bag inside. It's not very, and then it gets bottled over in this country and in Manchester, I believe. So the trouble is with those kind of wines is you tend, they're supermarket brands, you tend not to know which particular estate they come from, and it tends to be bulk wine which is all tipped into a very large vat from a lot of different producers and then sent out. So half the time it's perfectly respectable, but that's the reason why they were sort of 4999s about. So hopefully over the next 20-25 minutes what we're going to talk about is we're going to have a look at some of the wines which I bring in. The first brand I brought in was Otuero Estates, and then started bringing in some Mount Rosa from Central Otago. There's also some Logan wines to try, which are from a cool climate area in New South Wales. So Australia, pretty hot, not normally good for aromatic varietals, but this area is about 930 metres above sea level. So you get maximum temperature in the summer of about 25 degrees, so it's not unlike a sort of good, cool climate European day.
I really did. If you were there, I hope you really enjoyed yourself, and we hope that you'll come and visit us at Smithfield Wine. Thank you.